Hey everyone, Yasin here, and welcome to another episode of Pointy Chins where I take you through my art journey. Alright, so to begin with, in the last episode I was working on Ozj's comic, and then I thought about Kay and like, oh, maybe I should do something with that more. But I wasn't sure, so I just thought, well, let me just try drawing Kay's face, and I don't know. There's a lot of failing happening, I guess. Like this one doesn't look the way it's supposed to. This one really doesn't look like her, and I'm thinking about like, do I want to change her or do I keep her exactly as she is? Can I draw her reliably over time? Do I do a different style? I kind of like this style. Kind of looks cool to me. So yeah, those are the considerations. I'm kind of suffering through it. You can see from the little faces, they don't seem too happy. So yeah, working on this some more. Really not liking it. I'm trying to this one seems a bit too realistic, and the eyes don't quite work. The forehead, like everything just seems off. This one's a bit more stylized, and I suppose maybe I hesitate to say cooler because it doesn't look that cool, but just pushed a lot more. And yeah, the eyes aren't really done well, and it doesn't have the right feel. So like none of these are really capturing the right feel. It's better when I just do characters that are just random characters, not supposed to be anyone in particular. This one kind of has the feel of Kay a lot more. This one not really. So that kind of goes to show that she does seem to have a personality or a character to her. I guess just facial features that need to stay the same. I guess her nose just isn't that big. And when I make it that way, it just doesn't look like her anymore. And then, yeah, more random people. And then here I was thinking about different kinds of hairstyles. Just, playing around with the idea of maybe her head isn't shaved, but like the hair goes over the top. Yeah, this one's just doesn't make sense. Like hair doesn't do this, but I thought, well, try it anyway, just to experiment. And I don't think that's a bad idea to, do crazy things just for the sake of trying things out. So I don't do this much, but some creatures. This guy's weird. I don't know, I kind of like that. And this guy. Sometimes I just find the little ones are more interesting. Yeah, this one's kind of funny. This one kind of looks like Kay. And then gestures, playing around with some kind of facial markings. This guy's got I don't think that's lipstick. I'm not sure if it is or just some kind of makeup on his face. And maybe it's not though. Maybe it's just patterning. Kind of like doing these not quite human figures. This was for sketches for a commission. And then more drawing women. Trying a more realistic eye for Kay. Seeing, well, what does that look like? I'm kind of going through a period where I'm jumping around. Here I got a lot more scribbly, and there's different types of, I don't know if you call them personalities or what, but showing through. Different styles seem to emerge. And I get into kind of a difficult period every now and then, especially when I'm sort of drawing in a certain way for a while, and then suddenly there's this, I don't know what it is, but I can't draw in that anymore, and my drawing starts shifting, and I've learned to just let it happen, like just run with it, because usually there is a resolution. There's something that needs to be figured out, and this is something I would encourage. if people are also going through a similar thing. Like if you feel the desire to just, I don't know what, like, oh, I suddenly feel like I just want to use pen and crosshatch everything, but I was doing something with pencil and I was working on shading, so maybe that's a bad idea. It's like, well, just do it. Just follow what you feel like doing, because maybe there is something at the end of that tunnel. I mean, I hope that works for you. Kind of like this guy. I think this is working, sort of. This one, no, not at all. And that's just the first drawing of the day, sucking here. Tried to do a more, I guess you would call it chibi version of K. So I don't know what these are. I guess this is like the shitty period. This one's okay in terms of proportions and things. Still working out basics. I know I like these bigger hands, so I'm sticking with that. I think a lot about figuring your style out is understanding the tendencies that, like, what do you kind of like and you seem to do often, and find those things and then run with them. Just a cloud from Final Fantasy VII drawing. Yeah, so like these again, still struggling. It's not like the face doesn't quite match the body too much. It's okay. This one's a bit better. Okay, in some weird outfit, but I like this one. I like how pushed it is, and I like these hands, and like that kind of looks cool. And I actually like this one too. It's a funny expression. All right. So here, not in this one particular. I'm just playing around with shapes. It looks very flat though, so gotta have your shapes but also have form. Probably should have worked in the form first, but here I started watching this Chinese drama that my wife Flavia started watching it with her, and I forget what it's called, Empress of China, I think. Anyway, it's like a historical drama, and they're all dressed in these very elaborate costumes, and so I was kind of influenced by that. I kind of liked it. And here I wanted to have a character with very, very little negative space. So you can see between each shape there's like almost no negative space. If you block this out as a silhouette, you can kind of see how it's like, yeah, everything's very close. Like the chin is close to the neck, and that's close to the shoulders, and all these big spikes. And the reason for that is to get a very chunky, solid feel. I tend to do very elongated figures with tons of negative space everywhere, and so this was going in exactly the opposite, just to see what it's like. And I think it's okay. It works as a concept. So yeah, it's not something I'm going to do all the time, but if I wanted to do a very heavy, chunky character, keep that in mind. You know, don't have too much in terms of negative space. So like, see, the nose is very close to the chin, and this all inhabits a very tiny amount of space, and then you have this big empty space for the head, big space for the hair. So the head is like this big, and out of that the features take up a very, very small amount of real estate. And then here I put down this kind of shape initially, this crescent shape, and then just filling it with stuff, and it gives like a pretty cool energy to it. On this one, I think I was influenced by the Chinese drama, and I was just adding details because there's tons of details in that stuff. These are not like Chinese details, they're just random, but just kind of getting the sense of putting more detail. And then here's just like a power thing. Again, I'm using the same thing as this. Like, you start with a basic shape, and then you fill it, and I wouldn't say it's done very well, but the idea is it's okay. So here, back to proportions, trying to figure out where the skeleton would be in the proportions I was using here. I mean, they're close. they're pretty close to being done, but not quite there yet. This one's, trying to figure out where is the rib cage, how big is the pelvis, and I like this one though. That looks pretty cute. There's a face like that shape. Interesting. Yeah. So here I'm stretching the features a lot more. This one's a good example of like, okay, so this guy's okay in terms of push. I mean, you definitely would say this is a stylized thing, but then this guy's like even more stylized, and I feel like I have him like lecturing this guy like, oh, you think you're stylized, huh? Oh, I'm really pushed. Yes. All right. So this guy's got a hat. He looks happy. I've mentioned it before, but I live in a town with a lot of retired people, so these are the types of faces you see a lot. And then this is more the Chinese drama thing, Empress. And I like this one. Actually reminds me of a relative of mine. Just made the hair extra attitude. Yes. Yeah, so more stuff, and then like this again is mildly influenced by the Empress show. This one as well. Chinese guy with stuff in his hair. I don't know. And then here's where I really just let myself like, okay, you're kind of influenced by these empresses. Just make one up. And this is the first one that I did. And I actually like this one a ton. It's one of my favorite, like one of the pieces that I've done that I actually like. And it came out really easily at the time. Like it just felt very appropriate. And then I realized like, oh, this has a lot of the characteristics I like in things, and I actually don't mind putting detail in. So I really liked that I could do it, and I thought maybe this is a direction I want to head, doing these empresses. This one it's a bit more weird, abstract maybe. This one's just less detailed. This one, it's not like she has a super long neck. It's at this collar. I mean, she does have a super long neck, but it goes like down here, and then her shoulders would start around here, but it's all hidden by this collar, and it gives this illusion of like this very long skinny neck, which I don't think I like too much, but it's interesting shapes anyway. And then just making up some random guy, thinking about different kinds of shapes and patterns. More empresses here. Again, this isn't from the Chinese drama, but it's more like a feeling of elegance or something. I don't know. Bought meat bag, just some random person, another random person, kind of like this guy makes me laugh. And then more empresses. And this is just some creature, but trying to think of similar things. Like, oh, you have detail and patterning and stuff, but really what it is just trying to think of, okay, you have this big shape, and then you can add detail. Well, where is the trim? How thick is that? And I thought, like, okay, make it kind of thick, but not too much. And then maybe there's some like patterns, and then this just it's just scribbles, but it implies like pattern. And I guess more than anything, it's graphic design, and then working on different kinds of empresses, thinking about maybe they're not quite human, and they have like some facial markings and stuff. Here I thought, well, let's try an emperor type guy, and I don't know if he worked out, but I wanted to make him I wanted him super big. I don't know if that worked. And then I wanted him to have like furs and maybe not so much elegance, but more chunkiness to him. His mouth is kind of cool. It goes like out and doop. All right. Here I was just doing some hands from life. I think these three are from life, and then this one, and this one is from imagination. This one's from life, I think. Yeah, I think this one's from life. and then this one's from imagination. So what I noticed, I especially was kind of proud with this one, is that I can do stuff from imagination and it kind of looks okay. It doesn't look terrible. So that was good. More empresses and a bunny type creature. So like he would have some kind of ornaments and a dragony thing. And here, more creature things. Again, it's really just shapes. It stopped mattering really what I'm drawing at this point, and it's more just, well, if you create shapes with a lot of negative space that are appealing and they've got like a nice flow to them and stuff, it just looks good. Doesn't matter what you do. And when the shapes aren't good, it tends to look pretty bad. Also, no matter what you do. Give this guy some markings. This is a funny little interaction. So I think this was a pretty good month in terms of creation. I know I go through periods where it's like, oh, you have some better months and then you have some bad months, but this one seems to be one of the better months, so that's good. Just some guy, I was thinking of like, I don't know, maybe a scholar type guy, and then I wanted to have him wearing these robes, but then I'm trying to imagine where the legs would be inside them, so that it's not supposed to be see-through or something. It's not like that shows through. It's just trying to make sure, do I know how this works, like in terms of perspective and stuff. And then type of dragon, like I really don't like this one, but I like these two, these dragony creatures. I kind of like the shapes. So I think I did it first in this view, and then I wanted to see what it would look like in the 3/4 front view, and just try my best to get the things to work and like look like the same character. Not sure if I succeeded. This was inspired by one of my students, Milo Yo-Yo, who does these birds. I guess I just wanted to do a sad bird as well. A bit more birds and another bird. All right. And then doing some anatomy. I kind of like this one in terms of how the muscles go. It feels more like the muscles are fitting with the head. And I think because the shapes are so exaggerated, by not exaggerating the muscles, it just doesn't fit. But when you do, it's like, this one works. This one, not so much. I feel this one, but this one I really like. Okay, some crickets, yeah, just playing around with proportions, poses. I tend to do this when I want to figure out proportions, experiment with different quick ideas. Like this girl character, I don't have to do a finished illustration, but I can get a sense of, okay, that idea down pretty quickly, and then if I do like it, I can always elaborate on it. And I don't know, I did a guy with a very hairy face. I heard of some people who actually have this condition with hair on their face, I think in Mexico. But anyway, and I kind of like this guy. Again, it's got smaller features. So I'm thinking about negative space, and the way to do that in this case was to make the features much smaller, like not make humongous eyes. And I'm trying to do that throughout here. Like, okay, like in this case, the nose is very big, but the eyes are pretty small, and the mouth is pretty small. And when you compare it to the big head shape, it's not taking up that much space. And I noticed a lot of the artists I like, even ones that draw pictures that look like they have big eyes, the eyes aren't necessarily that big. It's just that the nose is tiny and the mouth is tiny, and so the eyes look big by comparison. But you don't necessarily, if you want to get that look of having people with big eyes, you don't necessarily have to give them huge eyes. You can actually just make the rest of the features much smaller, and it will achieve the same result. Don't know what this guy's doing, talking something into this person. Hi. Yeah, no comment page. All right. So I can't even begin to explain what this is because I have no idea. just playing around with different concepts, I guess. Let's just call it concept art because that makes it sound better. Doing some quick sketches of my cat. I don't think it came out right, this one. Playing with hair. Making it do sort of, impossible stuff. I don't know. I tend to like doing that. I actually like this one. It's pretty nice. Like how the ponytail goes. Looks cool. All right. And just more. Getting a bit more scribbly. Trying to, still trying to figure out things and get a sense of what I'm doing. And I'm still struggling because it still is a case of there's so much going on at once. There's so many different voices, not just in my head, but on the page, that trying to reconcile them all and bring it all together is quite a task. Kind of like this guy. In the next episode, I'm going to continue. It's a long journey. It's a lot longer than I thought it would be, but it is going somewhere. And I hope this is educational or at least somewhat entertaining for you. And hope you learned something. Hope it helped. And thanks for watching.